Glad you're working for me, pilot.
It's quite understandable that when people think of Titanfall, they focus on the wall running, on the double jumping, the lightning fast pace, and even the juxtaposition with the Titans and how slow and cumbersome they are. But I'm actually kind of in love with the guns of Titanfall 2. They're all pretty normal looking if you just take a quick glance at them, but there's some really quite unusual and fun little twists in there as well. And you've actually not got that many to choose from, which makes this all the more remarkable. So yes, you've got your fairly standard SMGs, LMGs, a powerful sniper rifle, and many of these guns are returning from the first game, but then there's also the more unusual ones. There's the twin-shot sniper rifle that doesn't shoot 2 bullets in quick succession as you might expect, but actually fires them in parallel and makes you offset your aim ever so slightly. Then there's also the alternator, which is this dinky-looking little SMG, but look a little closer and it's got double barrels again and these little flappy paddles which alternate going back and forth on the side of the gun. Honestly, I can't think of a gun that has made me go, oh my god, that's cute, quite as much as this one has. But those who played the technical test will probably want to know what Respawn have done in terms of tweaking the balance between then and release. And some people loved that version of the game, but there's a lot of people who played the original and weren't quite so enamoured with it. Personally, I really quite enjoyed it still, and in the final game I think I like it even more. They've tweaked the wall running in particular so that you no longer lose momentum when you jump off from a wall and try to make it across to another gap, and that makes it a frighteningly fast-paced game, letting you blaze a trail from one wall to the next, always arcing through the sky and seemingly never not being able to make a jump. It's quite ridiculous how fast you can go. There's a lot more maps that cater to this in the full game as well, where the technical test only had 3 maps and none of them really worked too well for chaining wall runs together. In the final game, those maps still maybe don't flow quite as well as the best Titanfall maps do, but they do still feel a bit better in my opinion, and there are other maps that cater to this side of the game a bit more. But there's plenty of good reasons for that. Some game modes just need a lot more space than others. So you've got the classic attrition game mode, which returns in the full game but wasn't there in the technical test, in which you earn points not just from killing enemy pilots and titans, but also taking out AI grunts and spectres, and it's still such a great mode and a very nice twist on just having a plain deathmatch. Amped Hardpoint strips out the AI, so it's just pilots and titans and capture points now, but you can overcharge a control point to earn double the points over time. Then there's the purity of just pilot versus pilot or capture the flag, but the AI are then actually the objectives in a game mode called Bounty Hunt, where you earn cash for killing AI grunts and AI titans that drop in waves before trying to deliver it to a bank and trying to hit a score limit. It's an interesting mode, if a little tricky to get to grips with and find a real flow, because you're always having to think about both the AI and enemy players. So it might not really take over as the main game mode in the multiplayer, that's probably still going to be attrition, but it's a good and interesting mode to have in there. There's been plenty of rejigging elsewhere as well. There's still 3 kind of weight categories to Titans, but they are now bespoke loadouts. So there's a sniper Titan named North Star with an awesome charge-up railgun, but who's one of the smaller, more easily killed Titans if you can get close up to him. He's alongside Ronin, who actually wants to get up close to you because they go into battle with a sword on their back. And at the other end of the scale, there's Legion, who has this huge chain gun and walks really, really slow, but whose energy shield is attached to the front of the gun. There's always variations in abilities, and the overcharge ability, and the kind of shield that they have, but you can tell them apart from one another much better on the battlefield, because you've got these different shapes and sizes that you're looking out for. There's also been a bit of a rejigging with the various game abilities. There's new ones like the grappling hook, which lets you latch onto something and drag yourself into a wall run or onto a Titan, for example. Or, if you're a very, very good shot, then you can actually grapple another pilot and kill them in midair. Or there's the ability to send holographic soldiers running forward to confuse and baffle your enemies. Phase shift lets you go into a pocket dimension for a few moments and come out the other side somewhere else. But again, character models are now tied to their associated ability, so you have that visual identity where you can know what this person is able to do. A little off to the side, away from your main loadout for each character, are the boosts, and it's here that you have things like the placeable turrets, weapon damage boost, the ability to rewind yourself back to a position from a few seconds ago, not to mention this is where you will find the smart pistol from the first game. It's now an ability weapon as opposed to a main gun that you have to earn during a match, and will then give you a limited amount of bullets with which you get to run around corners and fire away indiscriminately, almost completely assured that every single bullet is going to find and hurt your target. All of these things are unlocked quite gradually for your character as you go from level to level, earning different sights and weapon boosts the more that you use them, and it's a pretty straightforward and conventional system, but there's also the ability to unlock things a little bit earlier by spending the credits that you earn from playing the game on specific unlocks. Sinking plenty of time into Titanfall 2's multiplayer, I actually really got into it. Respawn have done a fantastic job with the original game, I thought, and really led the way for this new generation of much faster paced first person shooters. But for the sequel, they've taken a great game and made little changes all over the place in a way that I think has very much improved it. Everything from being able to better identify what you're going up against, to the kind of rebalance of the weapons and some of the adorable new additions, the new game modes, even just the new battery system and how you rodeo on a Titan, whether it's an enemy one or a friendly. It's still the same general idea, but it's been rethought and twisted just that little bit so that it feels really quite different as well. Titanfall 2 is out next week, and this is all that we're actually allowed to talk about for now in this video and in our written hands-on for the 6thAxis.com. But we will be back with our full review before launch, in which we will get to look at Respawn's single-player campaign, as well as how the game hangs together as a whole. So please do the liking and subscribing that you're always asked to do on YouTube, and I hope you will join us next week. Goodbye!
An enemy Titan exploding. My favorite sound.
Control transfer to power supply ready.